so this week we've got Smitty Smith, the guru of everything at Edelbrock, who's going to fill us in on what's going on, what are the cool products, and what he's been doing for over the past, what is it, Matt, 45 years in the aftermarket?
Yeah, he's been there for a long time, and he's been at Edelbrock for 30 plus years.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
So this is the guy to go to when you have those questions. And hey, let's go change our shirts and get this show started. Okay, it's going to be a good day because we've got Smitty Smith from Edelbrock here on the show. We're also going to tell you about a disaster that happened at my place, but the disaster just keeps going on. And but there is some good news from Barrett-Jackson. So it's all going to happen today on Shift and Steer. And Aaron's prepared with his Touch It Safe. So we appreciate
the disaster. The disaster at Brad's place.
Yeah, but before we do, I think Matt's going to tell us about somebody who can provide you with some needed insurance.
Yeah, Brad, I think you need to pay attention to this ad, especially with the story you're gonna be giving us a little bit later. Did you know that right now Geico is offering an extra 15% credit on car, motorcycle, and RV policies? That's 15% on top of the money Geico could already be saving you. So what are you waiting for? Check it out. Go to geico.com and save an extra 15%. Now, if you want to go to geico.com before October 7th. And that's how you get in on this deal right now. So go to geico.com to save an extra 15%. And that's geico.com.
And please, if you don't do it for yourself, do it for someone else that you might hit. And then look for it later on.
Yeah.
Oh, Brad.
We're
feeling your sympathy. We're feeling sympathy.
So, hey, we've got Smitty. We tried to bring Smitty in on a previous episode, but we had some technical issues. That happens. And, I mean, we're still learning, too. You know, sometimes somebody forgets to hit the record button.
Yeah, sometimes.
So, anyway,
it's not my job.
Yeah. So, Smitty, welcome to Shift and Steer. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
We are doing fantastic.
Awesome.
So, I know that Matt has been telling us all about Smitty and that you were going to come on. Now, you've been around the performance aftermarket forever and with Edelbrock and doing so much cool stuff. Just give us a little bit of background to start from.
I grew up with my parents racing jalopies back down in Gardena Stadium in Ascot. So I've been in this my whole life and always into cars. Been in cars my whole life. Worked at a speed shop out of high school, service center speed shops. You might remember them in Southern California.
Wow.
And I worked for Mr. Gasket for a short stint back in 1980 and been with Edelbrock 30 years. So
wow.
I love the performance aftermarket, love going fast.
Tell us a little bit about your role now at Edelbrock, or specifically, when you started with Edelbrock, what were you doing and how did it evolve into what you're doing today?
They initially hired me just to be a technician answering phones. And back then, we only had 4 guys total. And within the first year, they appointed me a manager, and I grew it up to about 10 guys. And then I got involved with my background, as you know, Matt, doing MPMC conferences.
Oh, yeah.
With our advertiser media department. Back then was Cammy Edelbrock in the early 90s and stuff. But they wanted my knowledge for making sure that when guys
Uh-oh. He left us with a cliffhanger.
Guys.
Hey, Smitty, can you hear us? Oh, no.
Kind of lost the internet connection.
I think a pre-runner truck just ran into his telephone pole.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, there he is. There he is.
All right. So, all right.
He left us on guys. Total cliffhanger.
don't move.
Yeah.
So guys were coming in and you were filling them in on what?
Say that again?
Well, you were telling the story about that you were the part that when guys came in and asked and you left it there.
I was making sure that, like Matt and the media conferences, that they had the right recipe of parts to make an engine build. You know, the right manifolds, camshaft, cylinder heads for their power package. The recipe.
To get that right blend so that they didn't go putting a small cam with a big tunnel ram or over carburate the thing, right?
Right. Making sure they all work together.
Right, right. So what is it that you're doing over there now? Explain some of the role that, because that what you're talking about sort of evolved into a bigger role.
Yeah, I do a lot. I wear a lot of hats. I do a lot of media stuff. Now with our company being a little bit different with our parent company acquiring the Comp Cams group, I'm doing a lot of tech support through our sales force, which is tech emails. In the last year, I've done over 10,000 tech emails. So make sure that they have the right parts.
Wow, that's a big job.
Yeah, it's a big deal. We also answer all the tech stuff for Summit Racing and American Muscle and CJ Pony parts. So it's all directed to us through Bizarre Voice Connections.
Now, Smitty, along that lines, and I'm not asking you to name names or anything like that, but I'm sure you've seen your share of interesting questions roll through the tech line, because I know we see our share just at our wheel company, and we're not dealing with camshafts and carburation and everything like that. Tell us some of the more interesting things that you've been asked about over the years.
One that comes to mind is a customer. If you're familiar with the Edelbrock carburetor, of course, all of you probably are.
Yeah.
Very.
Oh no!
Hold on, we lost your audio.
It happens every time he's got something great to tell us.
And frozen.
Oh man, this is the worst. So, Smitty,
Keep
we
those
lost
mice.
you again, man. Oh, we can see you. We just can't hear you.
I can.
There you go. Pick it up where you left off. The one that comes to mind.
So they had the fuel line hooked up to the front PCV port, and he continued to crank the engine over, and he filled up the engine with gas.
And what's wrong with that? Now, from a technical standpoint, there is something wrong there.
Well,
I think it falls under hydrolocking, doesn't it?
Yeah. But now we have a little tag. This is the fuel inlet on the nipple. So, I mean, so guys know if they're, we got to make it dummy proof.
You can never underestimate the customer. I had a guy once who crawled under his car and he couldn't get, if you've ever put like in an old muscle car, the fuel tank straps, they got to be really tight. So they're very hard to get in, to get that bolt in. And the guy just done a dozen of the zip ties to hold it in. And I said, you realize when you put gas in that, that's not going to work. And he goes, oh no, man, I got like 12 of them on there. That'll work. No way,
12 zip ties holding the gas tank in.
Yeah. There's no problem.
Well,
stories, I'm sure.
He's probably the same guy that hooked his fuel line to the PCV.
Same guy.
I actually bought a little sports car just out of high school, and I would literally, Brad, if you remember our house in Malibu, it had that long, big track on the front gate. It was about an inch high, and it was always like kind of a big bump to get over. Well, I came over that, and when I landed, both my front wheels fell off, and half of my front end just collapsed. The lug nuts were epoxied on.
Oh,
so I bought this little Alfa Romeo, and oh man, I thought my dad was going to kill me. I traded this car I had and got this little Alfa Romeo. It was a little Spider Veloce thing. It was a nice one, and like the one Matt had. And with the little holes in the wheels, Matt, it was that same one.
The phone dial wheels.
Matt's lugs were threaded on, though.
Yeah. I mean, the thing was only like 4 years old. Total car. Yeah. So I think that was intentional, but it was one of those, oh, what the hell moments.
So Smitty, what's new over at Edelbrock? What is the red hot thing that everybody listening should want to know about?
the top end kits are the hottest product category we have right now because it's a proven, dyno proven recipe that we've done that makes the power we say if it's got the right compression ratio. I mean, we got 350 Chevys making 460 horsepower at 9.5 to 1.
Oh, it's awesome.
That's great. Now we all know that LS motors are just like on fire. It's like every guy you talk to, the first things out of his mouth is LS this.
Yeah.
What's Edelbrock got going on over there for the hot LS setup?
Well, we've got something that we introduced at SEMA, dual throttle body cross ram. That was pretty hot.
Wow.
And superchargers, of course, Edelbrock superchargers are, we offer crate motors like the new Gen 5 with the LT, 850 horsepower on pump gas.
Wow.
Jeez.
Supercharged crate motor.
Now that will really make the Isetta go fast.
Yeah, it would make the Isetta go fast. The supercharger business has grown to be pretty big for you guys, and I guess it was a way for Edelbrock to really get into the modern engines without having to offer like a top end kit, which is more traditional, like what you're talking about, right? Make big power with a bolt-on kit.
When the LSs came out, we tried the way that Edelbrock was used to: camshaft, cylinder heads, headers, manifolds. You know, $5,000 later, you got 70 horsepower. Supercharged $5,000, you got 150 or 200. So the supercharger really opened the door for our company.
What's going to be happening next? Now, first of all, there were some big changes with Edelbrock in the past year or so. Like you said, the big private equity, holding company that runs Comp Performance Group acquired Edelbrock as well, and then I believe moved all of Edelbrock or most of Edelbrock to Tennessee, where Comp Cams is, and Fast and.
Well, currently we still have our main corporate headquarters in Torrance, but our warehouse moved last February to Mississippi, where the Comp warehouse is at. So we're under the same roof. Nothing's moved to Memphis yet for our company. We still have personnel here. We're just kind of merging through emails. They've been out to visit us. We've been out to visit them. But the time will tell.
Right.
Really, a lot of money in California.
So what's really happened was just all of the shipping out of the products. So, that side of it was consolidated out in Memphis, but all of your R&D and your new product development, your dyno testing, your crate engine building, and your customer service, that's all still in the old big red building that we know in Torrance.
Yeah, still there for now.
Yeah, good.
Now, what's on the horizon? Because we talk about how there may be a SEMA show, there may not be a SEMA show this year. Can you give us a little insight as to what some of the new products might have been, or what engines you're developing for, or what the focus is?
Well, with everything we've been through in the last year, like you said, Matt, there hasn't been much new products except for maybe our fuel injection, the ProFlow 4 fuel injection, self-learning, communicating ECU to distributor and tablets. That would probably be the highlight, and new applications for superchargers.
Yeah, okay. That's going to be pretty interesting. Listen, I know a very good friend of ours here at Shift and Steer is Ken Lingenfelter, and Lingenfelter has stepped up his game. He's kind of all in with the partnership with Edelbrock and all of the supercharger packages that he's doing, whether he's doing his own tuning and a few things to make it a little more unique to his audience, but everything from the Chevy Colorado to his Corvettes and all sorts of trucks. He's that's a huge endorsement in my book, because we're big fans of Lingenfelter, Ken especially, and the quality of that company, what they do.
He's a great guy. Hey,
We
Smitty.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I walked on you. Go ahead. Finish your answer. I'm sorry.
We private label them for Lingenfelter and put their name on them. So it's either Edelbrock or Lingenfelter. They're pretty much the same, but like Matt said, he does custom tune his stuff.
Yeah.
Now, coming from your background, you've been around this forever. you're one of those guys that lived and breathed carbureted motors. Now, if you take the average hot rod muscle car and the guy who, because I talk to these guys all the time at shows, and I'm sure you do, that, oh man, I'm not going to that fuel injection stuff. I mean, I got a Edelbrock carb on here, and that's just perfectly fine, or a double pumper, or whatever the case is. Why don't you kind of give some of our, in the time we have left, just a little bit of a highlight into why they would want to go and convert to a fuel injection? Because I know that I've seen it on a couple of my cars where, man, difference a day and night.
The thing that the people want is they want that new car feature. You can reach in the window, turn the key, it'll start and idle, just like your daily driver, if you will. And that's what we've been able to produce with the ProFlow fuel injection. You know, it'll start and idle like a new car. It's got the wideband O2 sensor. You can drive it. It's like a new car. You don't have the heat soak, or the fuel doesn't evaporate from the carburetor with the EFI. You know, high pressure, and it works well. The EFI is growing, and we can't keep up with demand presently, which is sad.
And the tunability is so much easier than going in and trying to replace jets and, you know, all the stuff that a carburetor has, you know.
You know, it asks you the camshaft duration, the cubic inches, what pound per hour injectors. You got like 5 basic questions. You key it into the wireless Bluetooth tablet, and you're good to go.
It's amazing how far we've gone with those fuel injection systems. We made them a lot more affordable, and then took as much of the complex tuning out of it by making the self-learning systems. And it's been pretty amazing. And Brad, like what you were saying, when you want to go on a road trip or something like that, the change of altitude and all that stuff doesn't really change much. It's not going to change the drivability of the vehicle. It can adapt.
And that's a big issue up here in Tahoe, of course, because we go down to Hot August Nights, or we go down to, you know, to the midnight mass, and we're driving, you know, carbureted cars, and man, it's like they're running like crap, you know, or our idle goes way up when we go to sea level, and the cold too. You know, it's cold up here, so a lot of them are cold blooded, and then it's too hot, you start getting vapor lock in your fuel system. It's just, carbureted fuel injection.
I remember always having a Sharpie in my back pocket so that I could, you know, once I rejetted the carb, I could write on it what I put, so that I knew. So if it didn't run right, I could, I put this in there, you know, and, you know, all that's
I had these etched plates on my Mustang because I had dual pumpers on that. And I had them adjusted for altitude markings and temperature, and it was way too nerdy.
And one of the things that you said, Smitty, which is spot on, is that evaporation. Because a lot of these cars, I know mine, they don't get driven every weekend, but when you jump in with a fuel injected car, boom, starts right up. You're not sitting there pumping it and trying to get the, you know, so.
Unless it's a throttle body injection. I have a throttle body on my Ophelia, on my 350 truck, and I do have to pump that when I start it after a while. I'm really confused. It's an old throttle body. So it's
Smitty,
an old injection system.
We're running out of time. We appreciate you coming by, man.
Time to upgrade.
Now, where can we find you? If we've got technical questions, how do we find you?
You can go to Edelbrock.com, and on the contact page, there's a spot for web tech, and that's where I'm answering all of them emails.
Cool. So we can just go there and go, want to talk to Smitty. So
Smitty and Edelbrock, that's my email.
There we go. There you go. Hey, everybody, you know, go to Edelbrock, check out all their stuff. They've been doing this for years, and, you know, we're all big fans of it. So check them out, and check us out, like we told you, at shiftandsteer.com. Matt, how about you, buddy?
Yeah, follow me at Motorator as usual. Post some new stuff up there.
Aaron?
The Rat Runner's Garage and Aaron Hagar. Anything is pretty easy to find.
And Smitty, are you on social media at all?
No, I don't. I'm sorry.
Too busy.
We'll have to get you started on there.